Hello, team, and welcome to the Ladies Best Life podcast. Today, I am super excited because we have got one of an incredible coaching club members who is joining, and the lady is Carol. Carol has been part of the coaching club for 12 months, and she is graduating in just 4 days' time. It's a bittersweet situation because Carol and I have absolutely loved working together. But all good things do have to come to an end, and it's now time for Carol to spread her wings and to go and see what she can do with the world and with life on her own terms, which is mega exciting. Carol, welcome to the Ladies Best Life podcast. How are you feeling today? All good?
Yeah, really good. Really good.
Are you excited for this?
I am, surprisingly, because this is like my comfort zone, isn't it? But yeah, absolutely excited.
Love it, love it, love it. So we're going to dive straight in. Carol, I want to know what life was like before coaching club. Like, how were you feeling? What were your relationships like? You know, give me a bit of insight into pre-CC, Carol.
Yeah, it feels like a lifetime ago, if I'm honest. Well, you saw where I was at. I was pretty rock bottom, quite flat. Totally lost myself, really. I remember talking to people and saying, I'm just mum. You know, I lost my identity. I put everybody first, which as a mum you do. Mm-hmm. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I didn't recognise, and I don't mean a physical thing. It is a physical thing, obviously. That was my big thing. But it was, I didn't like to look at myself. I didn't like how my clothes fitted. I just felt quite flat, but not just physically, mentally as well.
And how was that having a knock-on effect into life?
I thought me putting all them first was the right thing to do. But when I think about it, they were not getting the best of me. You know, anxiety, I was always on the edge. I never had any energy. I wasn't present with my kids. It was just nag. This needs to be done. That needs to be done. And I wasn't being my best mum. And I wasn't my best wife. My husband would go away for 3 days. He'd come back. I'd barely say, are you all right? Because there was nothing left in the tank. You know, it was just like, I'm busy. I'm doing me. And there was nothing left for anybody else. So in hindsight, I thought I was doing the right thing, but I really, really wasn't.
It feels like when you say that, I hear like a big disconnection.
Completely. Yeah. And it's weird putting myself first because that felt really selfish. But actually, you've got to be a little bit selfish because now our lives are completely different to where they were 12 months ago.
I can't wait to hear that. Obviously, I know how it is because we've worked so closely together, but it's amazing hearing you talk about it and to hear you reflect on where you were. Do you think there was, do you think the disconnection was actually from yourself, which then drip fed into the disconnection from everybody else?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. I think when I left my job to become mum, that was, I was ready to do that. I wanted to do that, but it was I didn't know where I sat anymore. And I think that sort of overwhelmed me without even realising it. And then it was just a downward spiral.
And when you say you don't know where you sat anymore, is that because like your whole identity went into being mum?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I forgot to be. I forgot. Personality disappeared. I'm quite bubbly and quite fun, but I didn't feel fun. I didn't feel bubbly. The spark had gone. And I'm blaming that on giving up my career. I think it was lots of things. But yeah, sometimes you just got to put yourself first.
100%. And this is a conversation I have obviously pretty much every day with people inside the club, people outside the club. We are conditioned by society to believe that putting yourself first or not, like just, it's not even putting yourself first. Your kids still come first, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's not even putting yourself first. It's just not leaving yourself to the fucking scraps.
Yeah. And I think we put ourselves under pressure that we want to be 100% good career, 100% good wife, 100% good mum. And we put ourselves under these pressures because we think that's what we're meant to do.
Mm.
And actually we're not. We just do the best we can.
But, and again, like, you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you look back and you were tired, snappy, no connection, your cup was fucking like dry. So there was nothing to pour.
Absolutely.
So when we got talking then on social media, I think it was Facebook, we were having a chat. Yeah, it was, because you're not on Instagram, are you? So no. What did you think you were coming into? What was it that you thought you needed me for?
I think initially, if I'm honest, hand on heart, was you were going to get me fit. And I was going to look amazing. And I think that's what grabbed me. But then your bubbly personality and your passion was what I really, really liked, because anyone can stand there and say, I can do this for you. We can all like strip everything out of our lives for a few months to shred those pounds, can't we?
We can.
Something different about what you were saying. It sort of hit hard, and I can't put my finger on it. It's really hard to explain because, you know, we're not on a diet. We're not on a fitness journey. It's when people ask me, I'm like, I can't explain it. I don't know what to say, because it's just all these changes. I've never been able to do this in my whole life. Never. But it's just, I don't know, there was something about your bubbly, sparkly personality, Sasha, that I was like, oh, I want a bit of that.
The thing is, I think, so everyone generally, because if you think about what happens when you get into the position when you kind of lose yourself, which is where you'd got to, you'd lost that spark. So I classify that as you've lost yourself. You're so busy looking after everybody else that who the fuck are you? Where's your hat? When you do that, there is a knock-on effect of behaviors. And I think in your case, it was probably a bit of emotional / comfort eating, and also wine. So, and maybe then even because your energy was poor, not moving your body. So how I display to the world what I do is I say, look, it's a physique transformation. But when you join, you realize it's so much more than that, because the reason why you need a physique transformation is because of your lifestyle, which is because you've lost yourself. But if I would have said to you on like social media, like, and projected it out there, Carol, you're in a shit position, you know, with your headspace and how you're treating yourself. You've got to kind of address some like emotional stuff as well. We've got to rebuild your relationships. You'd have been like, fuck that. I just want to get fit and lose some weight.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people, they come in because they want to lose weight. They want to get fitter. And that obviously, like, look at you, like that has happened with absolute fucking bells on.
Yeah.
Your transformation has been incredible, but you get to the point on this journey where you're like, okay, the physical transformation is good, but look at my life and listen to my mind.
Yeah.
So I love that. So obviously we spoke on social media, and you then was like, you know what, let's jump on. Everyone calls it the call. Like it's this big thing, like the call. So I want you to talk me through, like, how did you feel on that call? Can you relate it to anything? Yeah, let's go through that.
Well, I was, I'm not going to lie, I was really nervous having that chat with you, because you don't know what's going to come out, do you? And like I say, I loved your personality and all that, but it's different when it's one-to-one. And the only way I can describe it is, we had that chat, didn't we? And when you're in a really, really rubbish relationship and you're bogged down with life, aren't you? And you know that relationship's going nowhere. So eventually, after that call time, and it was like that weight got lifted off my shoulder just after one conversation with you. And it was just like, she gets it. And she gets me. And you were saying things like, I was just rambling like I do. And you were picking those key bits out. And it was like, she knows me. How does she know me? And it was like, I think I said to you after, I went downstairs and I hadn't told my husband that I was talking to you. I hadn't, that you were even on my radar. And I went down and I was like, I'm joining this group. And I talked him all through it, and we had the best conversation we'd had in years. It was just like, I told him how I was feeling, told him how I felt about life, about how everything bogged me down, and he got it. And he's been my biggest supporter since. Aww. Whatever I did, he's been there. If I've needed time, he's given me time. If I need to go and have a half an hour in my little gym, in my little garage, I go and have my half hour. So yeah, it was definitely a life-changing moment for sure.
Love it. And it's so good that you're picking up on these little things now, because a coach's job is not just to stand there and go, right, Carol, we're going to put you in a 500 calorie deficit and we're going to get you getting your steps in. And it's about hearing what's not being said.
Yeah.
That's where it's actually a transformative coaching process rather than just transactional. And yeah, so I love that. And I also absolutely love the fact that you had the courage to go downstairs and be like, I'm doing this. This is why. And he's then supported you.
Yeah.
And I say that almost like I'm a bit shocked by it. Not at all, but it's not always the case with some women.
No.
And it's
just
water. He has, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. But it comes down to you though, mate, because it's an investment, you know, mentally, physically. It's also scary because you're like, I don't know if it's going to work. And obviously you tried things in the past and that didn't work to get you to the surface level goal that you wanted to get to. So it's scary, you know, and it's like I know some women will say, I couldn't possibly invest that into myself because I need to spend it on the children or something like that. So the fact that you were like, actually, like, we're going to give it a go is incredible. So like, kudos to you. So I now want to talk to you, and again, it's been a year, so don't worry if your memory's not too great on it, because I know mine wouldn't be, but like, what did you expect the journey to be like? Did it meet your expectations? Yeah, like talk us through it a little bit.
I think my expectation was, you know, that I would get fitter. I think I was very like, shall I really?
It's okay.
You know, I just thought, yeah, I'm going to get fitter. But actually, it was all the mindset stuff that landed more with me than putting those other targets in place. They're quite easy, really, in comparison, aren't they? You know, like, yeah, I can drink so much water. Yeah, I can do so many steps. That's all quite manageable. It's the mindset stuff that probably tested me and changed me more than anything during this journey, because I'm a completely different person. And I've got now to be me.
You've got what, sorry?
The confidence now to be me. I'm going to be me. And some people will like it and some people won't. But the ones that do like it are the ones that I want in my corner.
100%. And the reason why some people don't is just because they either don't understand you or it was a conditional friendship in the first place.
Yeah. And, you know, that does come to light sometimes, doesn't it? And that is the difficult part of the journey, you know, because people you surrounded yourself with, that, you know, and they change, don't they? And you change and things don't stay the same, but you do have to put what's right for you.
100%. And when you said about like the mindset stuff really challenged you, but then had the biggest impact.
Yeah.
So if someone sat listening to this who's feeling how you felt before, so lost, knackered, snapping at the kids, trying diets, you know, feeling uncomfortable in your clothes, not liking what you see in the mirror from a face standpoint because maybe there's no spark behind your eyes, and also from a physical standpoint, can you explain to her what you mean when you say this mindset stuff?
Just sometimes, you know, they challenge you, your coaches and yourself, we're challenged to look further back. And sometimes that's hard to unpick because you've either forgotten about it or it's buried deep. But actually going back and revisiting that is difficult, but it actually changes you. It enables you to step forward, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
And can you think to like one scenario that you're happy to share where you're like, maybe it was like an old belief or something that really held you back or knocked your confidence, that like something that you believed about yourself?
I wasn't brought up with a very supportive family, and I was always put in my place, and you're always kept at a certain level, if you like. There was never any sort of encouragement, never sort of praise or anything. So I never ever felt like I deserved anything better. Do you know what I mean? And I think going back and revisiting that made me think, actually, I do deserve it. And I do have a right to live my best life. And I find that I praise my children all the time, probably overcompensate perhaps, but I want to give them the confidence to go on and be the best person they can be. I wasn't doing that before CC. I think because I was in that mindset and that feeling flat and feeling low, that I didn't have anything to give to anybody else. Whereas now I'm just a completely different person.
And what, like, so if you think to how you were pre-CC with the kids, so if you were feeling flat and not kind of encouraging them potentially, do you know what was driving that? Not just that you were feeling flat, but was there anything that you were trying to do by not encouraging them?
I think just you're just busy doing the practical stuff. I think, you were just like, make sure they were fair and clean and tidy and all that. And then there was nothing left for that fun side of mum that shows you that it's all right to mess up sometimes and to have a laugh and like be silly. It's that bit that they were very sort of, they did this, and they were, they're good kids. I wanted them to see the fun side of mum. I think I trying to perhaps protect my children probably too much.
Yeah.
And keep them in their little box. I suppose it's a control freak in me. We've all got that sort of little bit of control issue.
We do.
Whereas now I'm like, no, they've got to go out. They've got to make their own mistakes. I just got to be there to pick them up.
It's you see a lot of mums go down the route of ticking boxes. So make sure it's all like this. It's got to be done this way, because when you're out of routine, that requires thought. And if you don't have capacity, you can't think on your feet. You're like, fuck, it's all, and like it's all gonna, crash down. And another thing that I kind of was getting towards there, and you did touch upon it, it's almost out of scarcity. You don't want them to, it's not that you don't want them to go, you always want what is best for your children, but you're riddled with fear. You can't see that actually, even if they learn for themselves by tripping over a step, so many mums like micromanage, and it's like, how are they going to learn, to not go up the step like that or whatever, And when you've got that greater confidence, that greater energy, you can then deal with the meltdown that may follow because they've hurt their knee.
Yeah.
Probably the shittest example on the planet.
No, it's absolutely spot on, because I was micromanaging every aspect. And I think because you micromanage, when it doesn't go to plan, it hits you harder. Yeah. Like you can't cope with it. So then you're on the ceiling like, oh. And I think I shouted more than I spoke at one point. And I knew I was doing it. And I knew I was being unreasonable. But it was just like, oh, this has got to change.
and you did it. So would you say, so let's talk about expectations. So at what point did it land with you that, oh, this isn't just about steps and get your 5 a day in?
It was a good few weeks in. I think the lives, as you go on different lives, and obviously different coaches bring in different things, and like Sarah with the nutrition, she has taught me more about nutrition in my life than I have ever known. Just understanding nutrition has been a complete game changer. Because I think I remember saying to you, I'm not eating much. Well, I was.
Yeah. Everyone says that.
Yeah, but I was. But she sort of, and then you know, like Jen, another one, absolutely amazing coach. And it doesn't feel intimidating what they're saying. You know, they make it real. And I think a lot of what they were saying, and it wouldn't necessarily be on the live, you know, you'd be listening and, you know, me and notes, so I have to take it all down. But it'd be when I revisited it, or it would still sit with me. Something would happen. I'd be like, that's why. But it's really hard to give examples. But it was a few weeks in, and I was like, oh yeah, there's a bit more to this.
Yeah. It is so good that you can kind of pick up on those things, because again, coaching, we do tell there has to be an element of instruction, because when you join, you're so fucking overwhelmed with life that thinking about what to do is like, just tell me what to do. So we often sit people on quite a manageable track to begin, and then we develop it from there. And the lives and the coaching and the one-to-ones and the calls and even the events that we do, they are all aligned to plant a seed. And then when you go away, you can start to notice that you're operating in different ways, potentially you're thinking in different ways. And that's our main goal in the coaching club, is to get you to think better.
Yeah.
Because when you can think better, like, your life derives from your thinking.
Yeah.
So we're currently thinking kids are getting on my nerves, Steve's getting on my nerves, like hassle. The only thing that you're going to be doing is think about soothing.
Yeah.
You know, and we get stuck.
And you mentioned the events, actually, that was a big moment for me, the first event, because that was completely out of my comfort zone. You knew I was having kittens before I got there, because I didn't know anybody. I wasn't great in that situation with lots of people that I don't know. And it was really weird, because I walked in and I felt comfortable from the minute I arrived, because they're just lovely, lovely ladies. They're judging you. So I think if you were considering like doing something along these lines, just attending one of those events, you would see what it was all about. And the ladies are amazing, aren't they? We've all got each other's backs. There's no judgment. You know, we can all talk about random stuff. Nobody cares. It's just really light-hearted and nothing. Yeah.
It's a sisterhood. And I think because for me, when I was growing up, I was part of a really bitchy group in school. Don't get me wrong, I was one of the bitches. You know, I have no shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's really highlighted to me the importance of connection, community, sisterhood, understanding, and no judgment. We get judged so much in our lives. And I think to come into a group where you've got people who want to lose 5 stone, and you've got other people who just want to get ripped, and you've got so many different goals and so many different personality types to a degree, but all with commonalities as well. And it's so powerful. So talk me through then the kind of biggest 3 to 5 mental changes that you've experienced, and also then physical as well.
Well, the physical ones are always easy, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think I'm the size now that when I got married, like 15 years ago, and I didn't think I'd ever get there again. I've got a waist again. And I put clothes on and I don't actually care what I'm putting on, because I feel nice in everything. You know, when you're sort of in the big stuff, I'm not, because you're trying to cover up. And don't get me wrong, I'm not one for, you'd never see me like walking in next to nothing, because it's approved. But I feel really confident in my skin. And I think I said to you, I don't get my legs out. I hate my legs. My legs are my worst thing. I get my legs out. So proud of my legs. I remember you saying to me, those legs are serving you well. And I was like, that is true. They might not be how I want them to look, but they keep me walking, don't they? But now, like, I'll put my shorts on and I'm like, I can go out in a pair of shorts. Whereas I couldn't have done that last year. I wouldn't have done that, or I would, but would have felt so self-conscious about it. So, and I just feel, more toned. I feel in proportion. So all those sort of things, even my skin and my hair feel better, which is ridiculous. But it's because you're getting all the right, the nutrients, aren't you?
Yep.
Just silly stuff that is normal, but you just forgot to think about it for some reason. Mentally, I would say, I think I've got a different confidence. I used to be, I'm quite an outspoken person. I'm quite chatty and but I think that was always a front, because I put that hard exterior on because I didn't want people to see the real me. Whereas now I let people see the real me. I let people see my vulnerabilities. I'll talk quite openly. I'll cry now. I used to be so hard-faced, but now I cry at everything. I'm ridiculous. But and I let my kids see me upset, because I just think they should say it's all right to see those vulnerabilities, because we've all got them. I think I've got more passion for life. Definitely more passion for life. I want the day to count. Don't get me wrong, we'll have those days. I've had a few rocky weeks, haven't I, with colds and different things, and it does knock you and it does rock you, but it doesn't knock you off fully. I've had that wobble, I'm back on, come on, get going again. It's like my mindset is completely different. I'm not looking for an excuse to go and open that wine. Oh, I've had a bad day, I deserve this. No, it's like, I'll have a glass of wine if I want one. Not because it's Friday night and it's Friday night. I'll have a glass of wine because I fancy one. So those are the biggest shifts for me, I think.
Love it. Do you feel like you've been on a diet?
Never. Not this is what is crazy, isn't it? This is what, like, people will say to me, oh, what diet are you on? I'm not on a diet. And they're like, well, how are you doing it? And I'm like, I don't know. because these little changes they just dripped in. So they weren't, I always say we can't we? Like I say, we can rip everything nice out of our diet. We can cut it all out. We can go to the gym and half kill ourselves for a few months. And of course we'll get that result, but it's not a healthy way of doing it. And you're going to pile it on, and probably more. Whereas this has never once felt like a diet. It's just those healthy swaps. And I actually find I crave that healthy snack now. You're having a weekend away and you let it go a bit and you have a lovely time, and absolutely, like you say, it's all balanced. There's nothing wrong with that. But I can't wait to get back to, I want my veg. I want my water. I want to go and do my workout. And I never thought I'd say that.
Because it makes you feel good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You get to the point, because you're no longer burnt out, chasing your tail, bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
And when you're in that state, you need something just to fucking soothe you. And chocolate and wine is great for that, depending on what you enjoy.
Yeah.
And I always, like, the hardest bit for me is to find the bridge to go from the vicious cycle to the virtuous cycle. Because when you're in this vicious cycle, you literally need that wine, you need that chocolate, or whatever your crux is, because it's the only fucking thing that you have to kind of look forward to, or to have a deep breath and to make you feel good again.
Yeah.
So you see some coaches just pull the fucking plaster off, and they don't think about, how can I savvily, don't know if even that's a word, but we're going to go with it. How can I savvily create that bridge? And once you've created that bridge, which I think we did with, like, ramping up your movement and just optimizing fruit and veg, not pulling anything away.
No.
You start to feel better. When you feel better, you can make better choices. When you've got more energy, you don't crave the wine. When you're looking after your emotions, you don't need to soothe them with you know, something like wine. So that's amazing. And it's so good to hear that you have never felt, even though, how much weight have you lost in total now?
Do you know what? I don't even know. Because I that was my obsession, wasn't it? Like, oh well, I want to see what's on the scales. And initially I didn't lose anything for probably about 6 or 7 weeks. You're clever. So you make us take photos. And it was the difference in the photos. So I was like, well, the scales aren't a true reflection of how I'm looking. So then for me, the scales, the weight just went. That was the thought. That's what was driving me initially, but it was at the bottom of it wasn't my priority. It was how I felt and how I looked. So, I mean, it's got to be, what, 2.5 stone? It's got to be. But I'm not worried about what the scales are saying now. It's how I feel.
And I know, because we've ran together recently, haven't we? And I know how well you train. I see your progress pictures every week. Completely different shape, completely different muscle mass, completely different energy in your face. And obviously you've stayed with us long enough to go through, you've gone through the dieting phase to get you at a shape and size that you're happy with. Now we've done the reverse dieting and you're into your maintenance phase. This is the bit that is you're diet free, but even though we didn't fucking diet to get there, but you are dieting free, because losing weight requires you to go through a dieting phase. It doesn't mean you're on a diet. So you are now dieting free for good. And the thing that you said about there, like, you can have a weekend away. You might have 24 cocktails. Fucking hello hangover.
Yeah. I'm conscious.
Yeah. Had a great time. But you then know that it's not like, oh my God, I need to get back on plan. It's like, fuck me, put some vegetables in me, put some water in me, get me moving my body. I might have gained 3 pounds. It doesn't even matter. It will be gone in a couple of weeks, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what we like to say, that we build is women who are unfuckable with. Like, it doesn't matter. You've been through some really stressful situations, you know, your sleep has been impacted because of personal stuff, and you've been ill. Not once have you completely hit the fuck it button, because you are now unfuckable with. So knowing the Carol that you are now, and just for a second, like, think back to pre-CC Carol.
Yeah.
Imagine you're sat next to her right now. What does she need to hear? And to embark on some journey, not necessarily just coaching club.
Yeah. You need to put yourself first. Just put yourself first. Be selfish and do what's right for you, because everything else will follow. And everything that's meant to be in your life will be in your life. I think that's the only thing I can say. It was the best thing I did, picking up that phone call. Yeah, without a doubt. And I don't know where I'd be. And I think that a lot. I honestly don't know where I'd be if I hadn't picked that phone up 12 months ago.
Any idea?
I could possibly end up being divorced or on my way to a divorce, I would say. Because I didn't have any time left for my husband. And it's like, and like I say, I feel quite guilty saying that, because he's been my biggest supporter doing this. But it was just like, I think I was on a very self-destruct path, as in I was getting to that point. I don't need anybody. I don't need my husband. I'm sick of everybody. And I probably could have got in the car and drove off and never come back. That's the way it was going, which sounds like quite bad, really, because that was only 12 months ago. But I think I needed to get to that point to make that decision to say, right, I'm here. That's done.
I don't think
you have to get that low, isn't it?
Say that again.
It's just a shame you have to get that low. But it's like,
you do sometimes have to go to the extremes to make changes and to have that wake up call. I don't think it sounds bad that you're saying that. You're just, again, you've learned the skill and the power of vulnerability, and that's such an open, honest, vulnerable share. So thank you, because so many women, like, I get to have that call with hundreds of women, don't I? I get to sit on that call, as everyone always says it, this big, like, magical whispery thing, and I get to chat to women across the globe, and the amount of women who are in that position who are like, I cannot fucking take this anymore. Like, I'm not me. I don't feel like me. I hate me because I snap at the kids. My husband and I just butt heads or ignore each other. There's no connection. There's no love. You are like, there is no judgment there, Carol. Like, and there'll be some people listening to this going, fuck, that's me. I could literally get in my car and drive, probably feel a load of mum guilt.
Yeah.
But there's that escapism that is wanted. So you're going to struggle with this because you've said it a couple of times. It's nothing crazy. How would you define what the coaching club is?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Getting our heads. It's so difficult. People that ask me, because, you know, like, it's quite obvious the change, and I don't mean like I keep going on like it's not just the physical. People do see that, you know, you got that bubbly spark back, that you got that bounce in your step, you know, that you've got that energy, and it's like, and they say, how do you do it? And I'm like, it's CC, but I don't know how to explain it. It's just, it's not a diet. It's a lifestyle. It's so much more. I'm never clever with words anyway, but I don't know. I would never be able to do it justice. I really wouldn't. I think people will go into it thinking, like I did, I want those physical changes, but you'll get so much more. So much more.
And why do you think people need to go beyond the physical change? Why? Like, why not just go and do Joe Wicks's 90-day plan?
Because you won't sustain that. Nobody can. You see people, I did it myself, you know, you go and you cut the calories out, and of course you get that quick fix. I'm going on holiday in the summer, I want to look good. And then you go on holiday and you've done it. So like, then you eat everything, you just go into those old habits. They stay with you when you come home, and before you know it, you're back to where you started. With this, I've had holidays. I'll drink at the weekend. I'll go for nice meals, but it's levels, and I don't say no to anything. Nothing's a treat. It's just that if you fancy it, and it's all moderation. But it's just that I don't think about it. If I want to go and have a drink, I'll go and have a drink. But then if I want to go and, I don't know, I can't say pizza because I'm not a pizza lover. But, you know, like if I did want to go for pizza, I'll go and have a pizza, and there's no guilt. There's no, just enjoy life. I just enjoy it. And difference. I'm not, like you said, I'm not looking for the soothing. I'm doing it because I want to, and I'm enjoying it. But I'm balancing it out with everything else that I do.
Love that. You touched upon the word that I believe is what we do, and I've struggled to articulate it until probably the last 8 weeks, bearing in mind the coaching club has been going for 2.5 years, and for me it's a lifestyle coaching program. That is, we're not life coaches, we don't help people, we're not therapists, we don't help people to go from, you know, complete mental rock bottom. People do come to us, like, I know you've used the word before, I've literally felt rock bottom, but at that point it wasn't at the point where you needed a therapist. It was just some lifestyle changes. And I say just because look how simple those changes are that we've implemented. But when you're in that place of nothing left in your cup, you have no idea, you've got nothing to pour, so you don't know where to start. So it is simply lifestyle coaching, but it's so fucking tailored. So we know, like, I know so much about your life. I know so much about the way that you think, the way that you feel, the way that you operate. And when I and the other coaches can see that and understand Carol as a whole human being, we can look at how to link things into your values. how to help you to expand your mindset and to see what is truly possible for you and to make the changes that fit in with your life. That's how it's sustainable. And removing all these like chains around our neck, like you can't have carbohydrates and you have to cut everything out like wine to get to where you want to get to, because that is just it's just a cycle. You can cut it out, but then you're going to want it again, you know? So it is definitely hard to define, but your explanation was brilliant. So final question, what is next for Carol? Because obviously you're 4 days away until you graduate, you're on your own 2 feet, you're ready to fly the nest. What is next for the incredible Carol Mills?
Oh, wow. Onwards and upwards, isn't it?
Always.
Upwards. Like you say, I've got into running, as you know. That was you. I was a keen runner before children, and then it goes by the by. And I kept revisiting running, and I was rubbish at it. So I give up. But you got me on track, and you've got me back having that passion. And that's escalated into like getting up in the hills and the outdoors. And I think more of that. There's going to be more of that. There is going to be more of me put myself first. No big changes as in life, because my life is actually pretty damn good. I like where I'm at. So there'll be no big changes, just looking after what's important to me.
Boom. That is incredible. And I just want to finish by saying thank you, Carol, because you're a fucking legend. It has been such an honor to work with you. Look, I told you I cry at everything. I'm getting emotional. To sort my life out. But it has genuinely been such an honor. Like from that get-go, I knew you were invested. I knew you were ready to make the change, and you ask questions when you need to. You like take on board what we say, and you trust us wholeheartedly. And it's been fucking monumental to watch you and to be a part of your journey. So from me and the rest of the team, just want to say thank you.
Oh no, thank you.
So team, I hope you enjoyed listening to that. This is the incredible Carol. I've loved that. Absolutely thought it was sensational. Have an incredible day. And as always, if you need anything, hit me up because I am here to help. See you later.